Hello there.
Hello there.
Welcome to What If Qui-Gon Didn't Die? My name's Jamie.
And my name is Shaun B1.
Shaun B1 Kenobi.
Shaun B1 Kenobi. Hello there.
And as you can tell, we love talking about Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, indeed. This is our little weekly show where we expand our headcanon. We take what we know in Star Wars and we just change it, do what we want with it.
We just fart in the wind with it, don't we?
Yeah, we're exploring the galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, different dimensions. There's little bits of lore in here.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just me going, I think this happened. Don't know. Doesn't matter. Just roll with it. And I hope you enjoy it. We do say every week to get in touch. We'd love to have some theories or some questions that you'd like to ask, and then we'll explore it in our own little headcanon-y way. Like, yeah, I normally say at the end, but if you have any ideas, send them over, people.
Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of our own ideas.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to get some listener feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if I say at the beginning, if people stop listening now, they've already heard me say it.
So where would they find us?
They would find us on our Instagram, which is at WIQGDD, or email us
at wiqgdd@gmail.com.
or on the Podbean page if you listen on there. You can also comment on our episodes on there. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about today, young Jamie, is what if Obi-Wan turned to the dark side after Qui-Gon's passing.
Yes.
Do you want to give us a little recap? Set the scene.
Okay, so episode 1, Phantom Menace, we get into the Duel of Fates. This is where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn, as master and apprentice, they have pursued what they think is a Sith user, a Sith Force, dark side baddie.
Bad guys over there.
Naughty man. He's a very naughty man.
Put your red lightsaber away, sir.
And then they end up fighting. They have their duel. And tragically, Obi-Wan dies.
Qui-Gon dies.
Yes, correction.
Tragically, Jamie got it wrong.
Yes, I was, because we're going to be talking Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I forgot about actually the name of our podcast. Ironically, I was thinking about the name of our podcast as well, and then just said Obi-Wan anyway.
What if Obi-Wan didn't die?
What if Obi-Wan didn't die? Another idea. Stick it in the bank.
There you go. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, so Qui-Gon gets killed.
There's no back to tanks at this point.
No.
But apparently Naboo doesn't have a Medicaid.
No, there's no pharmacists knocking about. There's nothing that can be. There's no plasters.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan can't use Force Heal.
Yeah.
His Force powers, actually, just to touch on this quickly, Obi's Force powers, like his pool of expertise, let's say, ain't that much. Because what's he got? Force push, Force pull, and
Force jump.
Yeah, force jump, which is an extension of force push, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
And then other than that, it's just general, gentlemanliness.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably plenty of force powers we don't see, but for the purposes of the story, they've kept it quite streamlined. But back then, there wasn't as many powers as there are now that we know of. They weren't spoken about. They might have existed, and then in the past, they've retconned the powers into being. Okay, so Darth Maul.
Shanks our mighty Lord Qui-Gon.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Obi-Wan then kills Maul.
Yes. But what if Obi-Wan at this point was so angry that his killing of Maul, or presumed killing of Maul, was actually the catalyst to turn him to the dark side?
The dark side. Now, this is quite good because at the time of recording this, the Acolyte's out. And they say in that a Jedi shouldn't kill for revenge.
No.
And they should not kill in anger, nor bear a weapon unless, obviously, there's a weapon drawn against them.
Which was.
Which Maul does have, yeah.
Yes.
So, technically, Obi-Wan is okay within the Jedi Code.
Yes, because he's in the midst of battle and he knows if he doesn't kill Maul, he himself would be killed.
Yeah. So that's all good. But yeah, like you say, if he then killed Darth Maul, and then say he killed him, now he's upset about Qui-Gon, he's obviously using all of his skills and jumps and all the rest of it, and he strikes down Maul, cuts him in half, and he falls down the tunnel. A bit like Palpatine, which is mental. They both fall. Like, where's that? Why is that one room in Naboo like, what is it, 1,000 meters deep?
Because that's how all these cities and places are built, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cloud City had the same.
Yeah, true.
But that was in the clouds.
True, and I guess in Naboo they were in the starship deck.
Yeah.
When Maul come in, but apparently there's just a massive void of space with a couple of weird.
Just dramatic that way, isn't it?
Just dramatic. But then, so he kills him, and that's all good. Like, I'm all right with him killing Maul. But then, this makes me think, after he's killed Maul,
yeah,
he obviously takes Anakin and goes back to the temple. On the way back to Coruscant, say he's obviously sat in the chair. He's got Master Qui-Gon's been killed, and he can just hear Yoda on the other end. And Yoda sort of says, "I can feel your anger from here.
Clouded you have become."
Clouded you have become. And then all that flight back in hyperspace, Obi-Wan he's like seething.
Yes.
And he can't seem to drop it. And we love Obi-Wan because he just look at them, Anakin. Look at them. Ahsoka, I don't think that's a very good idea. But yeah, and then he goes from this youngling with the Padawan rats, and he's in the temple saying he wants to take on Anakin, but Yoda can feel that he's got this little angry streak in him. It's like a little black pustule in his guts, and that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, I reckon. I don't think it can be the actual killing of Maul which sets him off.
No, because that would be seen as a lawful kill, but it's more
the aftermath.
It's the loss of Qui-Gon.
Yeah, his master,
and perhaps a lack of support from the council.
Yeah, because they obviously in the films they don't want Anakin, do they? They don't trust this prophecy. They know Qui-Gon was into it, but they don't want anything to do with it. And maybe if they said, "Oh yeah, we're sorry for Qui-Gon, that's really bad. We need to investigate the Sith," and Obi-Wan goes, "Right, is that it then? Because that's nothing. You're supposed to be the sharpest minds the Jedi I've ever seen. Where is Master Soul?" And then he could walk away from meetings like that feeling very bitter.
Yeah, feeling a bit almost lost, I suppose. If he hasn't felt like he's been listened to,
yeah,
then he's not going to be feeling wanted, is he? And I know the Jedi shouldn't really be having emotions like that, but if it starts to eat away at you, and it happens repeatedly, it will eventually wear people down.
Yeah, this is it, and it's weird that, and it's a bit contradictory with the Jedi because they have to essentially be robots emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ask for support from other Jedi all the time. Why? If you've got to have no connection to this guy, which is like the Padawans. They all care about their Padawans. Why do you care about them? Because the actual law dictates that you shouldn't have emotion. So you shouldn't really.
I don't know if that's the same thing though. Like, it's like your job is to continue the legacy of the Jedi.
Yes.
So you need to make sure that there is a duty of care, not that you do care about the person, the individual, the character, but you show a duty of care to make sure that this Padawan grows up knowing what they need to know, so they can then continue the legacy down. You don't have to be friends. You don't have to like each other. You just have to make sure that you pass on the teachings.
But yeah,
I think you can be emotionally detached, but what happens is you spend all the time together, you will bond, you will have a connection.
Yeah, this is it, and this is why I think it's...
They're like priests.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to, and they take it out on the wrong people.
Yeah. But this is what I'm getting at. So he was obviously cut up about Qui-Gon, even though they're taught to not feel these things. Because he gets cut up about Anakin, and that whole fight on Mustafar with him and Anakin is an emotional fight.
Yeah, it is.
Even though if they followed the Jedi law, they would both, like, obviously Anakin would be angry and attack him, but Obi-Wan would only defend himself in that fight.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it, but this is why I think it's viable that in our little headcanon he could go to the dark side because he's getting emotional.
Yeah, he's got that. I suppose if you open up that sort of side of things, that's his door in, isn't it? That's
getting emotional about it when Yoda's saying.
And if a existing Sith Lord / Master was able to recognize that, he could leverage that to make him fall faster towards the dark side.
Because let's be fair here. Oh, Palps,
Big Daddy Palps,
Shiv Palpatinio, and his gorgonzola cheese and his little Italian moustache. He would feel that Obi-Wan's conflicted from a mile away. You're telling me Obi-Wan, and let's say we get to the second film when he's in his Jesus phase.
Yeah.
And he's got the long emo teen hair. Palpatine by that point, say he carries on and he's still part of the Jedi Council, but he's still really clouded.
Yeah.
So say at the start of the second film, Anakin's grown up a little bit. It's all a bit fun and games. They're like brothers running round. But there's still that, like, Obi-Wan still is too emotional. He's too latched. And so, you got the likes of Mace Windu, Aki Du Mundi, whatever his lead is. Cloudhead for life. Yoda, all the other ones, they're trying to tell him you need to not be so clouded, you're getting too wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
At that point, Palpatine would feel him. And he might even think, right, Anakin's really strong here. However, if I can turn Obi-Wan, Anakin would surely follow. It would at least help the cause, because Obi-Wan could, because he obviously wants different desires to Anakin. Anakin would want to save Padme, blah, blah, blah. But Obi-Wan would be so emotional that Anakin would feel better about using his emotions during the Clone Wars.
Yeah, because at the moment, he knows he shouldn't do what he does.
Yeah.
But he does it behind closed doors. Whereas if he sees his example going, oh, you can be that and you're powerful.
Yeah.
I could do anything with that. And that might help Anakin down the road.
This is it, yeah. So if Palps saw Obi-Wan, I mean, this is all me saying that if Obi-Wan stays with the Council and tries to hide it, and then Palpatine finds him, takes him to his quarters, and sort of everything that happens in the Clone Wars is more Obi-Wan's watching Palpatine, going to the opera with Palpatine, not Anakin, because Palpatine's playing the long game. He knows Anakin's the chosen one, but if he can sway Obi-Wan now, he can overthrow Dooku, who's always been on the fence, have Obi-Wan at his side, and then when Anakin's ready, then then
in the fight.
yeah, because it does feel like he pushes Anakin too early. He's impatient with it, isn't he?
So jumping ahead with it, to sort of to find a way to conclude the Anakin Obi-Wan story. So Anakin's would be destined to become Darth Vader either way.
Yeah, he's got to be.
I don't think he necessarily needs to kill Obi-Wan, but they would fight. And you could still have the same fight like on Mustafar.
Because they both use an emotion then. The fight would probably be the same.
Yeah. Obi-Wan would still technically win the fight, but in doing so might then break out of his Sith-like trance that he's been put into, because then he's like, "Oh, you're my brother, and oh no, I've
just really hurt you.
I've just sliced off 3 of your limbs. I feel really bad about it.
We were being manipulated this entire time, Anakin.
I've got to get away." And then he runs away, probably in shame first, and then tries to repent.
Yeah.
Whereas Anakin maybe doesn't see that side, but gets angrier because he's been defeated.
Yeah.
So now he still needs to become Darth Vader, and he's still the same Darth Vader. So later on in the stories,
when they meet up, Obi-Wan, it's still the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there would ever be. I still think that Obi-Wan would have probably become Jedi again
in time,
but there'd be a big difference in the fact that he would not have been the one responsible for looking after Luke and Leia.
Oh yeah, because Yoda at that point in the story, obviously Obi-Wan, because I'm going on the basis that Obi-Wan, by the time Padme gives birth, Obi-Wan's already been seen as the Council to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll jump back in timeline a little bit. We're just discussing the end here. So they've already booted him out the council, and he's gone off and done his things. Maybe he's had a fight with Dooku. Maybe he's done some stuff with Grievous.
Just quickly, if they boot him out the council, how does he continue to mentor Anakin? Because he'd be removed from his care, wouldn't he?
Would they give Anakin the choice? Because Mace and Yoda don't want Anakin there, really, still, do they?
I think once he started the training, they would probably keep him, because they would maybe think that they could fix him or protect him from the dark side. Because what they will probably think is, if he was clouded, if their judgment of him was clouded to begin with, if they didn't trust his actions, if they let him go, he's definitely going to be getting trained up by Obi-Wan or another Sith master. He's going to be powerful, and we know he's powerful because they know it.
Yeah.
They know his midi-chlorian count was ridiculous. It was over 9,000 at least. But if they can keep him nearby, they can monitor, they can keep him in arm's reach, and they can make sure that he doesn't, or they'll think they can make sure that he doesn't become a force for evil.
That's a really good point, and I'll tell you for why. Say they boot Obi-Wan out at the start of the Clone Wars. They give Anakin Ahsoka anyway. So they can say, right, we grant you the rank of Jedi Knight, but not Master yet.
Yeah.
But we have got Ahsoka, little 14-year-old without any real clothes, to run around a war zone with you and learn the ways. She's your Padawan. Am I Master? Still no. But take the Padawan with you. Who needs a robe, at least. She's not wearing anything. Filoni, come on. 14. So that actually makes sense. Because they would keep him around and give him the clone battalion still.
Yeah.
You know, and then he could still meet Padme. The only difference would be is that he wouldn't have Obi-Wan tempering him. Say the films were remade and Obi-Wan was evil. It would be Ahsoka saying, Anakin, what are you doing? Stop worrying about Padme. It wouldn't be Obi-Wan, it would be Ahsoka. They'd probably change it to be...
Yeah, they would have to. He needs that balance from somewhere.
They would retcon it that Ahsoka would be the balancing act, which frees up Obi-Wan to then be booted out and be a bad guy. Where do you think he would go? Do you think he would go on a little journey of discovery, or do you think he would go, oh, this is all Grievous's fault because we had to hunt down so and so?
Well, let's ask the question: who's training him in the Sith ways?
Maybe he doesn't get trained.
Does he just explore this power himself? Does he bump into Dooku?
I was just about to say,
Because
I bet he bumps into Dooku.
because I don't think it would be Palpatine.
No.
Because at that point, Palpatine doesn't want to show who he is.
And he's obsessed with the prophecy.
And he's
aka
busy
Anakin.
grooming Anakin.
Yeah.
But he can't bring Obi-Wan in, because if he brings Obi-Wan in, he's too old, really. He's not too old, but he's of an age where he can still make up his mind and change his mind if he can see what's happening.
But they Dooku.
But then Dooku is... The difference with Dooku is he's a Jedi who's got reasons to not be a Jedi anymore, to not be classed as Jedi. And he's very pragmatic in his approach to why he wouldn't be Jedi. He's been there. He was a Jedi Master. Palpatine, we've never seen him as a Jedi Master.
Yeah.
He was just a senator, counselor, whatever. Whereas Dooku was a Jedi. And if Obi-Wan, who is himself a Jedi, then talks to Dooku and says, why did you leave the Jedi Order? Dooku says, blah, blah, blah. And Obi-Wan goes, yeah, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
They didn't do this for me, or they did that, or they didn't trust this, or they didn't do... I agree with you.
And then he would join him. And actually that would be okay, because what we see in the Clone Wars is Dooku as Visage Ventress, I think her name is. And then he's got Maul for a little bit, and then his brother, Visage. But they could cut out all those little mini storylines and literally just have Dooku with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And actually it does make sense, because he would be drawn to him because of the Force. Maybe he would seek him out looking for a fight to try and get some honour to get back into the Jedi Council. But like you say, after talking with Dooku, and maybe he explains, maybe he says, after Qui-Gon's death, I've been feeling like this. And Dooku goes, that's normal though.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
And also, another reason why I'd go to Dooku trained Qui-Gon.
Yeah, so maybe he'd want some closure.
It would be natural for him to move up, for Obi-Wan to move up the ladder and go, oh, who trained Qui-Gon? Oh, it's Dooku.
Yeah.
This is the reason Qui-Gon was the way he was is because he was taught by Dooku.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be...
That would actually make a lot of sense. And because what we're talking about here is Obi-Wan isn't like evil, yellow-eyed, like Major Sith.
No.
He is just on the path to the dark side.
Yes. He might never get to be the rule of two Sith. He could just be a dark
user.
Yeah.
You know. So like we're not saying yellow eyes, red lightsaber when he goes to find Dooku.
He could be orange lightsaber.
But it could be orange. He could have buried his blue one and made a different one.
Yeah.
For example, and then finds Dooku, and like you say, if Dooku and him sat down, Dooku could make him explore his emotions, and then that would obviously all that's doing then is setting him down the path a little more. And like you say, there doesn't have to be a rule of two, because Dooku and Palpatine still fight. They butt heads a lot in the Clone Wars about, Dooku's views and what Palpatine wants.
Yeah.
But
as we know, Sith are selfish.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
They would always have to clash.
Yeah, that's it. And then because that would actually work so well, and that would also again leave Palpatine to groom Anakin, and it wouldn't make a difference apart from the end fight. Although they could still meet up and have a fight.
Yeah, they could.
Okay then. So say he meets Dooku. I like that. I like we've established that he would go and find Dooku. Do you then think that he would join the Separatists and fight in the war? Or do you think he would go and try and find a couple of temples maybe? Maybe he stumbles onto a Sith Wayfinder. Maybe he stumbles onto a Sith temple, and this temple isn't just all about anger, hatred and fighting. It explores emotion. And he goes, oh, I'm feeling really emotional. And maybe Qui-Gon's there, Force Ghost is there. But he meditates in the past, which is we've been told now in the Acolyte, which they do. Obviously, it's obvious he meditate from the past. And he's still so upset about Qui-Gon. He sees Qui-Gon at this Sith temple, and Qui-Gon goes, "It's natural to feel stuff. Go in the Sith temple. Have a look."
Yeah, because as we've talked about, we believe that Qui-Gon would be more of a grey Jedi, so we'd perhaps be more open to the idea of not being pure Jedi.
That's it, yeah.
He doesn't want to be dark side, he doesn't want to be Sith, he doesn't want to be that extreme.
He's just
open
emotional.
to the idea of being like, you've got to learn everything about yourself to know what the best way is.
That's it, yeah. And maybe he's saying, the risk is there. Maybe you will become a full-blown Sith.
Yeah.
If you go in this temple or go down this path. However, there might be a chance that you find yourself when you say, do you know what? I've let it go about Qui-Gon. Because ideally, we all want Obi-Wan to go back to the light. If he went down the path of the dark side for a bit, the end goal is for him to come back round and be like, I'm a good guy. There's Luke Skywalker with an R2 unit. Show me distress thing from his sister that I won't tell him about.
So the question is, where does he go? Separatist, temple, or somewhere else? And I think actually it depends on what Dooku wants. So
Dooku would want him in the war, wouldn't he?
I think so, but at the same time...
But then he has got Grievous. And Grievous is actually a really good commander. He looks silly in the films, but actually in the lore, Grievous is really smart and really switched on.
Yeah.
So maybe...
He hasn't killed 4 Jedi because he's an idiot.
No, exactly.
I think that Dooku would send him to the temple, or he would send him somewhere to find out more.
Yeah.
Because that war's going on, so Dooku is required to be there and active.
Yeah.
But would also probably, maybe as you say, Dooku and Palpatine butt heads. Dooku might be thinking to himself, if I could convince Obi-Wan to join me, together we could overturn Palpatine, and we could take over. We could do things our way.
Yeah.
And then that would give Dooku the power with Obi-Wan as the apprentice. So therefore, that would actually give him a better. That would give Dooku more power. He would, which is probably what he would like to have. He doesn't want to be following Palpatine's rule if he doesn't get on with them all the time.
Yeah, this is it, because Palpatine wants to kill him. So you know the scene when they're on the ship, and he's like, "Do it."
Yeah.
Anakin could still be there, and maybe Dooku's gone because Palpatine's told him to go, but it wouldn't matter, because at that point he could say to, say Obi-Wan's hung around, he could stay on this ship. Palpatine's going to try and kill me, because Dooku ain't dumb. He knew what was going on.
Yeah.
He knew that Palpatine had enough, and he had groomed Anakin to the point where he wants him to be. And then all Dooku's thinking then is, well, if they do kill me, and Obi-Wan and me's got a little bond now, there's somebody else who's been killed.
And that'll amplify his power and his anger and his
and then
his power from there.
And then he'll just get more and more powerful. Granted, not enough to take down old Palps.
No, because I don't think anybody really truly is capable by themselves to take down Palpatine.
But he could his power in the dark side would be phenomenal at that point.
Yeah, if he spent enough time, he's taken his Jedi learnings, combined with his anger from Qui-Gon's death, plus a little bit more Jedi time, plus then anger from the Council because they eventually kick him out, to then spending time with Dooku, who can guide him, and nurture him, and put him down the path further.
Yeah.
And take that emotion and use it for what it's intended. Maybe he goes to some temple, gets stronger again. All these little bits all come together that by the time it gets to it, he could probably take out Dooku by himself.
Yeah.
Dooku's quite old.
Oh, he's a great swordsman, nonetheless,
Oh,
isn't he?
yeah, he is phenomenal. But there will come a point where he will tire quicker, or
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's still a young man at this point, in his 20s probably, late 20s, even though he looks like he should be in his early 30s. Maybe he is. I don't know. And then you've got Anakin. Depending on their bond, he may or may not have something to do with them. But then he's also got Palpatine sort of pushing as well. So I think Obi-Wan potentially would be one of the more powerful Sith.
Oh yeah.
If not for experience, but for age as well. Like he would have youth on his side, where Dooku wouldn't. Whereas Dooku would have experience, but maybe would, like any sort of sport, he would sort of have to naturally give up sooner if they were equals.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty good actually, because so we obviously know that he didn't kill Maul. Maul could still be obsessed with him, but when Maul finds him, there's another avenue. Instead of being like, "I'm just going to kill you, Kenobi," he looks at him and he goes, "Oh, there's a bit of darkness in you.
You've changed.
You've changed." And maybe Obi-Wan just goes in for the kill, and he goes, "I don't care. I'm going to draw my lightsaber. I'm bad, but you're worse."
It could be one of those disappointing things where you see on a TV series, you go, yeah, the two of them, they're going to fight. This is going to be the rematch to end all rematches. But Obi-Wan at this point is so much more powerful than Maul's ever been.
Yeah.
That he just basically he does him in 10 seconds.
Yeah. And because he's so angry, and he's like, well, that's another potential Sithy dark side user off the chessboard here.
Yeah.
And Dooku's going off to be killed by Anakin. All these other little dark side users like Visage and Asai Ventress or whatever her name is, and all these other people that Dooku had fingers in pots, like they'd all be wiped off the board pretty soon, and then it would be
if Obi-Wan decided he was going to go and take out loads of people.
Yeah,
and he would have access to that network of people where the Jedi don't.
Yeah.
I would imagine, even though the Sith are secretive, and they probably are secretive amongst themselves, Dooku knows a lot of them.
Yeah.
So he would have that connection. He would probably know at this point that Palpatine is.
Oh, yeah.
And he might not know yet that Anakin's being groomed to be that, but he already knows that Maul exists because he's already defeated him once. So you've got... He would have knowledge of enough people to be able to go and hunt them down and take them out. And yes, maybe in his final battle, he would fight Anakin.
Yeah.
He's taken out Dooku, Asajj Ventress, Maul.
And his brother, Visage.
Yeah, and he's gone to take out Palpatine, but couldn't take out Palpatine because he's really strong.
Yeah.
And Anakin steps in the way and goes, no.
Mm.
And then it becomes, why are you defending Palpatine, this Sith Lord?
Yeah.
Wait, you're not Jedi. You're Sith. Now we're going to fight.
Yeah.
And
I'm angry, Anakin, but I need to save Padme. And then they fight. Anyway, Palpatine's going, great, one of you just kill each other, please.
And then they're on Mustafar.
Yeah, they fast travel there, Skyrim styles.
Yeah.
Padme gets pushed over because Obi-Wan's there. And maybe this is why Anakin gets so angry about Padme, because Obi-Wan's on the dark path.
Yeah.
He goes, you've gone to thingy, the council didn't listen to me, you went behind the Jedi's back and got Padme pregnant. I could have told him at any moment because I knew. I mean, Yoda knew as well, obviously, but he just sort of let him off. Why have rules if not to be broken? And then maybe Obi-Wan tries to kill the babies.
Yeah.
In a final act of anger, because he's like, this whole legacy of Qui-Gon and you has to end. Qui-Gon died because of you, Anakin. So I'm going to kill Padme, and then he obviously shunts her over. Anakin's like, no, I'm so angry already. I was going to push her over, and then
you're taking my job.
Yeah, you're taking my job. She needs to give birth to my twin. And then they can fight about it. And it's not because Anakin's so angry that he can't save Padme. It'll be more because his path and Obi-Wan's path are now like two cores just smacking heads against each other.
Yeah.
And that fight will be a little more emotional because Obi-Wan tries to hold back a lot and he tries to talk Anakin down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like that. It would be a lot more
Bring it on.
prequel flips and tricks,
Yeah.
you know, with a little bit of screaming at each other. And then maybe at the end of the fight, maybe that's when clarity comes to Obi-Wan and he's like, we've both been manipulated here.
Yeah, once he's chopped up
Anakin, yeah, he could still just look at him and be like, you know,
what was this for?
yeah,
Why did we fight?
Yeah, it didn't need to come to this, you know. And
Why are you here, Palpatine?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Wow.
Oh, probably because of anger,
Yeah.
manipulation. Palpatine has brought us together.
Yeah.
Palpatine was the only other Sith I wanted to kill.
Yeah. And it ended up you being in the way.
And you got in the way.
Yeah. So, and then he could start to see the error of his ways. However, I don't think he would then take Luke. And the Obi-Wan series where he goes to do that mission for Bail.
Yeah.
I don't think that would happen either.
I don't think so. I think those bridges would be burned.
Oh, a long time ago.
So he wouldn't be trustworthy, even if he was good again.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow it because they would just be like, well, you were bad once, you could be bad again.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to take Luke to look after him? I don't think so.
I think that would have to just.
Excuse me.
He would have to find him separately, somehow track him, but not knowingly.
Yeah.
Or not knowingly to the people who are trying to hide the kids. Or
he could still go to Tatooine because he'd be able to feel Luke, I think. Maybe another Jedi's there watching him, but nothing's to stop Obi going there and being a nomad anyway.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is just a bit of luck. He goes into hiding. So he's tried to defeat Anakin, and he did defeat him, but he didn't kill him. But then he has a moment of clarity, and then he thinks, wait, I'm not going to be strong enough to defeat Palpatine. I need to get away.
Yeah.
So he then disappears, and he goes off to the Outer Rim. He ends up on Tatooine by chance.
Yeah.
That's just where he ends up.
Do you know what he does? He goes to where Qui-Gon went to learn how to come back as a Force ghost, because that is a trial. It's not something that can just happen.
Okay.
So he goes to the planet, which is obviously close to the Force spectrum or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he does the trial, which Yoda does and Qui-Gon does, to come back as a Force ghost. Maybe he finds a bit more clarity there, and that's where he realises where Luke is.
Yeah, I was going to suggest he just went to Tatooine by chance.
Oh, okay.
And Luke went to Tatooine by chance.
Mm.
But the Force somehow willed them both to be in roughly the same place.
Yeah.
And then at some point, Obi-Wan's walking through the town centre, and Luke turns up with his mates.
Mm.
And Obi-Wan feels something. He looks at Luke, and Luke looks back at him.
Yeah.
And in that moment, there's a connection. Kylo Ren, Finn, eye to eye. There's something going on there.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan goes, hang on a second.
I can feel it.
I know there's something there. I haven't felt this presence since Anakin. And then he follows him. He discreetly keeps his eye on him. Yeah.
And then he could still be the hermit in the thing then. And then when
still...
episode 4 comes around, it's basically the same.
And he can still be good because he doesn't have to prove he has to be good anymore.
No.
Order 66 has happened.
Yeah.
All the Jedi have been wiped out, near enough. He's the only Jedi that he knows of, with the exception of maybe Yoda. But how he would know Yoda at this point, I don't know, unless it's just kind of like maybe I don't know, there's a Force connection somehow, something tenuous.
Yeah.
But then he's still able then to take Luke on and train him to be good and not bad, because he's seen what he can do as bad and doesn't want to follow. Yeah, it's all very tenuous. Obviously, that's kind of the nature of it. But
it's just weird though, because we want him to be good. So the end scenario is that he's a good guy at the end. What if he just went full bad? killed Anakin, and Palpatine went, "Oh well, you've killed him, so now you've got to be the new Sith."
Do you think though that would just become a case of Obi-Wan Jedi Hunter?
Yeah,
Because that's what else is he chasing?
yeah, he wouldn't be the legacy that's Darth Vader.
If he wants to take on, if he's been trained or manipulated by Palpatine, which is probably what would end up happening. Palpatine wants power, so he would probably just send Obi-Wan in. Right, you need to go and kill all the Jedi. You are Order 66, and you're going to do it as stealthily as possible.
Yeah, you're going to kill all the Jedi, and then, by the way, I'm building a Death Star. I want you to go and have a look at things.
Yeah,
on there, and then all of the other stuff can still happen. There just won't be an Obi-Wan versus Vader fight.
No,
because it would be they just escape.
I think then Obi-Wan would become the Darth Vader equivalent.
Yeah, he would be Dark B1.
Dark B1.
Darth B1. It's hard though to imagine because
he's such a beacon of light, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, yes, he does get emotional in the stories, but not emotional in a way that would make him look like he's ever going to consider making a bad decision.
No, this is it. Yeah,
he exhibits normal human emotion.
Yeah,
but in a restrained way, measured enough to go, this is right, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, he can get himself out of most situations quite easily, so he doesn't really let that affect his mood. You don't really see him get angry. You see him getting annoyed. He gets annoyed at Anakin.
Oh, he gets annoyed at Anakin a lot. But he does remind him in the Clone Wars to check his emotions. He knows Anakin is volatile.
Yeah.
And what we see normally is he's the one telling Anakin, well, basically, calm down, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to use your head.
But I will say, the only people who are able to make me frustrated or angry are my kids.
What's Anakin to Obi-Wan?
Exactly. He's just family, isn't he?
Yeah.
Family just have this way of just sort of pressing the buttons if they want to, and you react. I mean, I don't really react anymore. I kind of just let them get on with it. As they've got older, they've got a lot easier. They start to listen a bit more. I don't really have to tell them so many times, so I don't have to get so frustrated. But the point is that would be why Obi-Wan might get a bit more frustrated with Anakin.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be like that with anybody else.
No, of course, because he's with Anakin all the time. Yeah. And then, say, this is just a little different avenue. So say he's not going fully Sith. He's still in the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
He's still master over Anakin, who is then master over Ahsoka.
Yes.
Because there's an episode where they go and see the Mortis gods. Now, look at it this way. Ahsoka is the light, and Anakin is the father to bring balance.
Oh, he's the father, okay.
And the son looks at Obi-Wan and says, you're hiding what's really inside. You are the embodiment of the dark side. And then they flip. Obi-Wan sort of lifts his poncho up, and it's brown on the outside, but it's black underneath. And then he flips it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, because then Anakin still follows the prophecy to bring balance, but instead of it, you know, him having flashbacks of, oh, you're going to become Darth Vader regardless of what happens, it's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka and Anakin at that point, by the time they get there in the Clone Wars, they can say, do you know what? I'm not having it. And maybe they leave Obi-Wan there. Maybe they fight Obi-Wan there. Maybe they kill Obi-Wan. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just all go their own separate ways, and Anakin says, I can't kill you because I love you. But you are crossing lines. And then Anakin sends him off. And then Obi-Wan goes and does the temples and finds Dooku and all these sorts of things. Because that would make some sense if Obi-Wan was actually going to go down the path of the dark side, you know, and kill all the women and children too. it would be quite nice for Anakin to then send him away, I think.
Yeah.
If he was still in the Clone Wars, and then Anakin would obviously go back to the temple. Oh, Obi-Wan's a bad guy. You know, this happened to us. What do you think? Should we meditate on it? Yoda says, yeah, we'll all hold hands. I feel a disturbance in the Force. Anakin says, you always feel a disturbance in the Force. The Force is a disturbance. Stop saying it. And then Obi-Wan could go off, and that wouldn't help his cause, because he's had a higher power tell him that he's the reason bad things happen or whatever. And then he goes, well, I'm the reason Qui-Gon died then.
Oh, and then he sends himself down a spiral.
Yeah, and then, instead of us being like, oh, he's just on the dark path, what if he went full Sith? Red lightsaber, red cloak.
I'd love to see a dark Obi-Wan.
Darth-B-One.
I'm
telling you, hashtag Darth-B-One. Palpatine gets a little bit scared because everyone goes, oh, Obi-Wan's ran off. Oh, by the way, did you hear he's calling himself Darth-B-One now? And Palpatine's there going, oh,
he's the one.
He's the one I've been chasing around, and Anakin's not ready yet to fight him, because that's basically what he needs.
Yeah.
Maybe two little avenues here. He finds Obi-Wan and he's like, I'll tell you what, if you can strike me down, you'll become more powerful than you can ever imagine. And I want you to do it with anger in your heart. Like he said to Luke.
Yeah.
All right? To just go, do you know what? Whatever. Let's let Anakin have the spotlight. I mean, Obi-Wan, sorry. Or Palpatine would hunt him out and kill him. Palpatine would do it himself. Because Anakin at that point in the films isn't ready.
Yeah. And
you got to remember, the only reason they killed Dooku is because there was 2v1 and it was lucky.
Yeah.
Anakin definitely ain't ready to take on Obi-Wan as a full-blown Sith. Hood and everything. Yeah?
Hood and Annie.
Yeah. So maybe Palpatine would have to go and do it. They would have quite a cool duel, but I think obviously Palpatine will have to win in the end, because he would just force lightning him.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan's like, oh, my mediocre force push ain't enough. Do you know what I mean? But for a little while, he could be a proper Sith. He could go to some temples. He could really embrace the dark side. He could murder people, be a proper bad guy. He could even be a bit like Kylo Ren. He's so angry because he thinks he's the reason Qui-Gon died. He could just have little rage fits.
Yeah, he could, for sure.
And then it wouldn't seem so babyish as Kylo Ren doing it. Because in the films you think, why is he on a tantrum?
Yeah, what is he angry about? You don't know.
Yeah, but if Obi-Wan was showing that behaviour, and we knew that he felt that way because of Qui-Gon, you'd go, I really feel for him.
Yeah, no wonder he's angry.
Yeah, and it's all the time.
What a poor bloke.
Yeah, and maybe he'd have some followers, and maybe he would try and, I don't know, take out Palpatine and invade the Senate or something, because I don't know why I'd bother doing that. What's the point? You might as well just be outlaws.
Yeah, I think that would surely be the better life.
Yeah.
Because if you're all that powerful, you can take what you want. Just be quiet somewhere and stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Live on a desolate island somewhere and just
survive.
And just enjoy your time.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to push himself into Palpatine's lap to either be killed or kill.
No.
You know, even though he'll probably be drawn to him in some way. Because of the timeline of my little thought process here, Dooku would be dead. Maybe Anakin was able to kill him on his own.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously means Maul's running around Mandalore. Maybe he'd go to Mandalore, hire a few of them as mercenaries, but I don't really think so. They got their own stuff going on. You got Visage and obviously Ventress. I think they're running around at that point. But maybe he could kill them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to be like, right, if Anakin doesn't kill Dooku here, I've killed Dooku's support, and I'll have him.
Yeah.
And then yeah. And he'd be compelled to fight Anakin on Mustafar anyway. Maybe he just runs into him. Or maybe he goes, I'm more powerful than you. I'm the reason Qui-Gon, whatever. And Anakin goes, well, he can still have all this crap going on with Padme, like I said before.
Yeah, of course.
But they just clash. because they both want Palpatine.
Mm.
And Palpatine's there just sort of rubbing oil on his titties, going, oh, yes, look at these boys fighting over me.
Chase me.
Yeah, literally. I quite like that, because and then he could go proper big time Sith. Maybe he could go away and come back. Maybe he could do what Thrawn's done in the Ahsoka series. Maybe he's gone off somewhere, different galaxy altogether.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and he's got his little followers. And then, to round off his storyline, we see him in this other galaxy. He's got his followers. He's got a little cult going on. He's still really angry. He trains every day, but his demeanour is changed. Who's he like?
Are you going to say he's going to be like
Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you be after all that time?
Yeah, if you come to terms with your anger, but see the power that it's provided, and you can channel it and use it as you need to,
Yeah.
then why wouldn't you be relaxed?
You wouldn't need to have the yellow eyes, furious wolf, bloody howling for blood all the time.
Yeah.
You could literally find Obi-Wan. Yeah, he's a Sith. Yeah, he's really bloody powerful. However, he's calm, respectful, and he uses his power differently.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And maybe he does go to Tatooine to try and find Luke after some time.
Yeah.
But who runs into him to keep the cannon going? Darth Maul. He kills Darth Maul, and he goes, oh. Either he stays a Sith or he feels good. It doesn't matter at that point, because all that happens then is he gets stuck on Tatooine and becomes Old Ben. Whether Old Ben's a good guy or a bad guy, doesn't matter.
But he's still nice and calm. He's relaxed. He's got the powers. Whatever.
This is it. If he turns out like Qui-Gon after a storyline like that, I think that would make a really good Sith Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Because I find it really hard to see him Anakin styles.
Too angry all the time.
Too angry, shouting, Kylo Ren, just baby.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's not a baby. He would lash out like Kylo Ren, but like I say, he would end up after his journey like Qui-Gon. Calm, respectful. He would even offer his enemies food.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be scared of anybody.
He wouldn't be scared because this is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And and he could be like, try it, because
just do what you want. You've got no chance.
Yeah.
All that's going to happen is you're either going to kill me, and that's the end of my suffering.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to kill you, and life goes on.
And I have to wait to meet Qui-Gon in the afterplane.
Yeah.
And then Qui-Gon finally sees him as a Force ghost and says, it wasn't your fault, And then he goes, oh, I was a Sith for nothing. Thanks for that. Which makes him more angry, and then he becomes even more powerful than Palpatine, smites him down, Rey never exists,
Becomes
and the story
a
ends.
Sith Force ghost.
Or maybe instead of Snoke, in the later years, obviously I know at that point Alec Guinness was quite old, and they sort of said Obi-Wan was really old. But if he's a Sith, he's obviously, the Sith start to get obsessed with mortality.
Mm.
So maybe instead of Snoke in the later films, we go, oh, it's Snoke. Who's this character? He's only a hologram. Oh, why is he talking to Kylo Ren? Oh, hold on a minute. It's Darth Kenobi.
Yeah.
It's Obi-Wan. He's old as heckers.
He'd just be like, hello there.
Yeah. I'm evil, hello there. Yeah, because it could be. And Palpatine's still pulling his thread, because actually, in the end, he's so bitter and angry, Palpatine finds him and goes, do you want something to do? I've got these two youngsters who I need to force mind link. Do you want to do it for me?
Yeah.
And he'll go, yeah, all right, then what's my alias? And he'll go, Snoke. You talk through an hologram. And Obi-Wan goes, Fairs.
Yeah, sure.
Can I have the cool nights with the spit? Yeah.
Do I have to fly anywhere? No. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm too old and decrepit now,
Didn't
but I'll
like,
do it.
Didn't like flying anyway.
So it'd be, so it wouldn't even be Snoke, but we would still think it's somebody new. But the big reveal in the films is, oh, it's Sith Obi-Wan's back.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, all right then.
Yeah, we'll have some of that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is about this, we love seeing the good guys fall to dark, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
We don't want them to.
No, but you always want to see what they'd be like.
Yeah, the human element of it.
Yeah.
You know, we always see the good guys. Maybe they make a mistake, but they make up for it in the end. Iron Man stands up. The Hulk's a bad guy, but when Bruce Banner turns into him and he goes, "I'm always angry. The Hulk's on our side. Hallelujah." But actually, a bit like the boys. Yeah, he's got all this power, but actually, we've seen him fall, and it's quite
Yeah.
nice. It's quite nice to see
Yeah.
that.
People being deceived by what they think is good,
Yeah,
and it is actually is not as good. It's all hidden behind the scenes.
yeah. I really like that idea, actually.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting avenue for sure, and I think it would change enough stuff.
It would, yeah.
And I think Palpatine would still be in control,
Oh, yeah.
as always,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't necessarily be the focus anymore.
No.
I think that Obi-Wan would be able to take more away from Palpatine than anybody else has been able to.
Yeah. Unless, like I say, he goes to a different galaxy and then comes back for episodes 7, 8, 9. Say episodes 6, when it's Palpatine, Vader and Luke. Maybe that all could still happen because they've forgotten about Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he could just be anywhere, couldn't he, at that point?
And then episode 7, like I say, who's this Snoke character? Nobody knows. And then we find out it's Obi-Wan. Where did you find him? Oh, he was travelling around another galaxy.
Yeah.
But Palpatine sat in the Iron Throne, did a little brand vision, found him, got him back. Yeah. I like it. And actually, it falls into what we're starting to see. They're starting to show Jedi in a light where they use their emotions more. Look at the Acolyte. I know I keep referencing the Acolyte, but Master Soul, he battered Qui-Gon using his emotions.
Yeah, he did.
Which actually isn't the Jedi way.
And you just see him using more and more emotion. He starts off by thinking about stuff in the past.
Yeah.
Which he's not supposed to, but he talks his way out of it. Then when he meets the twins individually, you can tell he kind of has an emotional connection there.
Yep.
And then, yes, has a fight with Qui-Gon. You know, bad things happen. Emotional because of it. Then when we see him in the latest episode, he's emotional.
Yeah, again. All emotional.
And it blinds him.
Yeah, which is what could happen to Obi-Wan about Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And we've seen it already, and it can happen, and it does happen.
Yeah, it does.
Mm.
Nice. Right. Well, we said at the start of the episode, if you have any thoughts or opinions on this, or have any other questions, any other ideas, please get in touch.
Please do, yeah. Yeah, we want to hear what you think about this, actually, because this episode's a little jumbled around.
Just as is our style.
Yeah, but if you've managed to keep up and know where we're sort of going with this, get in touch and let us know what you think.
Yeah, what do you think would happen if Obi-Wan fell to the dark side after Qui-Gon's death?
Yeah, it's a cool subject, that.
Yeah.
And I reckon there's loads of fan theories online.
And because it would happen so early in the story for us.
Yeah.
It can just go in all sorts of directions, which is quite cool. So yeah, get in touch. DM us at WIQGDD on Instagram.
Or email us at wiqgdd@gmail.com.
Yeah, love to hear from you. Right, let's wrap it up then.
Yep.
Lovely talking to you as always.
As always, sir.
Look after yourself.
Be good.
And stay out of the sand.
Hello there.
No, it's goodbye.